that, but that's to identify the ship number when they are part of a greater firefighting package. Overhead, F-15 providing emergency close air support. High-speed pass, show right, C-130J.
Coming from the right. That is fast for a big airplane.
That's right. It's about 250 knots indicated airspeed. That's their limit at sea level.
And now off to the left, I see a helicopter entering the stage.
That's right. So we have an HH-60G Pave helicopter about to lift off to simulate a seesaw or a combat search and rescue scenario. Look at that C-130 pitch up. That's about 40 degrees nose high. Aircraft Commander Lieutenant Colonel Agradano is going to bump the nose over to about 45 degrees angle bank at 200 knots. And that's to simulate a maximum effort climb out away from small arms fire. I'd like to take a minute to recognize the crew aboard King 5-2, the call sign today, Crushing King 6-2. We have Loadmasters A1C Erica Ratterman, Matthew Chamberlain, Staff Sergeant, Tech Sergeant Eduardo Perez, Combat Systems Operator Major Ken Lealock, co-pilot Patrick Slavin, and again Aircraft Commander Jose Agradano. And it's a shout out to Sacramento State, Det 88. Aircraft Commander is a graduate of that program. So the Pave is airborne, as you can see. There's a bit of dirt that's blowing up, so they would actually like to avoid prolonged flight in that low altitude hover because it does potentially cause problems for the engines. You can ingest foreign object debris, or FOD as we call it, and also even at night we use night vision goggles, and even the dirt can pose a problem when we look through those NVGs. Now, in a combat scenario, we would have close air support today is provided by this 15, and they'd be in communications with all players. So in a rescue scenario, it's a very busy, calm environment. So we have multiple frequencies for the ground party. In this case today, we have a drop zone. Pretty soon we'll be tuning into that frequency. It's Gondola Bravo. You'll be hearing the two-way comms between the helicopter, the C-130, and the ground party. So rolling out to Airshow Center here, you'll see what we call the Guardian Angel all-terrain vehicle. It's a beefed up ATV, and on this ATV they can attach all sorts of cool things like covert lights, infrared lights, guns, and all the tools they need to secure a drop zone in either friendly or a denied environment. I'd like to take a minute to recognize the helicopter crew. So first off, we have Crew Chief Techno Sergeant Jesus Ortiz, Tech Sergeant Thomas Maldo, and the Special Mission Aid here is Brian Kovici, Airman First Class Malcolm, and the pilots aboard the Snake Hawk helicopter, Captain Joe Brown and Major Travis McDonough.
You know what? Where you're catching a breath, Joe, I got to talk to the Eagle driver here because we want to make sure that the high cover is properly recognized as well. The Eagles are above us, sir.
All right, so we've got an F-15C Eagle flying a combat air patrol overhead. You can see him up there about 4,000 to 5,000 feet.
And he's flying high cover, and I know Chris is anxious to tell us we're about to get some jumpers out above you too.
That's right, so direct overhead, and right now, as a matter of fact, you see the jumpers away from the C-130. And you should be counting 6 shoots, I believe was the final count, but so right now we have the pararescue men flying under their canopies, inflating, and notice it's a square chute. That's oftentimes utilized. A square chute does provide a better steering control.
We're going to be listening in to all their communications as well now as they're coming down. Chris and Diggler here. General joining me on the stage as well. As you see the Eagle, pretty aggressive turn up high above.
That's correct. As we tune into the DZ freak now, we'll begin to hear the communication through the drop zone. They've already called clear to drop because they've already exited the airplane. There's going to be a safety man at the drop zone, and from the sky will be marked with a sign. So they know for sure that the zone is still clear to land on. Right now, they're navigating in the descent. They're looking at the winds and how it's affecting their path across the ground. You always want to land upwind. Upwind's going to reduce your ground speed and make it easier to execute what we call a PLF, the parachute landing fall.
So the F-15 is making sure that we are providing air superiority, keeping any bad guys away. If they needed to, we could intercept them, force them away, shoot them with missiles or the gun to force them away.
Boy, and there's more than just that. General, you were talking earlier, you've got guys in Space Command.
Yeah, you know, I know we're getting a great look at all the capabilities we have here in the California Air National Guard, and I don't want to leave out a 195th Wing up at Beale. They've got a squadron, 148 Space Ops Squadron down at Vandenberg that flies a Milstar satellite. And if you look out about 40 degrees off of the horizon, up high, a little over 23,500 miles out there, is a Milstar satellite that's providing communication between all of our assets on the ground here. And the 148 is flying that satellite. I'd ask them right now to kind of wiggle the solar array so that we can have a look at them. So if you squint real carefully, you might be able to see it.
So right out front, a little bit up to the left.
But just right behind where the F-15 is right now, there's a Milstar satellite, a little over 23,000 miles out there in geosynchronous orbit that our boys and girls down there at Vandenberg are flying.
That's weird. All my texts just disappeared. They are. Here come our jumpers, though, right? Thank you, General. It's amazing what's going on and how well protected the state is, and then, of course, the nation and on it goes. Chris, what's going to happen now in the drop zone?
Yeah, so right now the parachutists are lining themselves for that upwind lane like we described earlier. So again, they're watching their track across the ground. Right now, though, the lowest parachutist is on the downwind leg. It looks like they'll be making that final turn to land safely on the ground. We do utilize smoke signals to identify whether the zone is good to land on or unsafe. Sometimes you might see a green smoke pop, and that's indicating that the drop zone is clear. Not always we're going to have clear radio communication, so if you're at the resort to a visual signal like smoke, we'll do so.
They are touching down with a load of kit on. How much does that weigh, and what do they got with them?
Well, that's right. So it really depends on what type of mission they're trying to execute here. For a land mission like this, it could be as light as 80 pounds. It may not sound light, but when you start considering all the gear they need for a water drop, we're talking flippers, tanks, it could be well over 100 pounds of just gear alone.
So they descend slowly. Meanwhile, above us, we've got the Eagle drivers doing it. We get the Eagle eyes on what's going on up there and down here.
That's correct. We've got Major Matt steamer this Sound of freedom.
Chris, the Herc is circling. Why is that?
That's right. So the C-130 is making an observation pass. I might take this opportunity to mention that on the 130 we have a very complete set of avionics to include a sensor camera on the front of the airplane. We were able to position that camera towards the drop zone, so we're going to visually identify that we have all the jumpers safely on the ground, and they'll be backed up by a call by the ground party identifying that all jumpers are safely on the ground.
Now, I get the feeling that the helicopter will be involved in this again, because they've got to get these guys off the ground, right?
That's right. So what we're going to see now is a simulated event where we have a survivor on the ground, and let's say that this person is isolated, so we're going to bring a helicopter in coming from a stage right here, high-speed pass, observation pass, making sure that the zone is clear. Notice that the doors are open. That's very common. They're going to sometimes even have guns attached on the outside. There's a max effort climb by the helicopter, going to butt the nose over to the right. There he goes, and he's going to set up for his pickup of the survivor. Comes back around. Notice that probe you see in the front of the helicopter. Later in the show, you'll notice that that's used for receiving fuel. That's going to be the next event here, but for now, it's a pickup.
But the afterburner is on.
That would be a full afterburner, 50,000 pounds of thrust.
It's still a formidable aircraft after all these years. So it serves this nation so well.
That's right. We definitely got our money's worth on that one.
So you might have caught it earlier when the jumpers first landed. They set up a quadrant of protection. So just in case the zone ended up being attacked, they're going to have personnel in each corner to protect the downed airmen and possibly a fight pack if necessary.
The helicopter pilots are busy, aren't they, Chris? I mean, they've got both hands are busy all the time. Two different things going on there, and their feet counteracting through the color.
That's right. Yeah, so
a little propeller.
That's right. So helicopters, really amazing machines, but inherently unstable. It takes a tremendous amount of skill to fly a helicopter like this. Very stable and controlled. And like you were saying earlier, a helicopter does require all your senses and faculties available. So you see the main rotor, that's essentially a rotating wing, and that's going to provide the vertical lift component. The pilots control that with what we call a collective. It's almost like a handbrake in the center of the cockpit. And then in the rear of the airplane, you see a smaller spinning disc. That's the anti-torque rotor, and that counteracts that rolling moment produced by the main rotor. 15 looks like in AB.
In the middle of all of this, apparently somebody needed gas. So the Bowser will make its way through. As the perimeter's been set up, and I guess they're getting ready now to extract these people.
That's right. So they're going to authenticate the survivor. There's going to be a covert way of identifying that the person they're talking to or looking at is actually our downed airman. So they've already gone through that process. They've confirmed that this is the person we're looking for. And now the helicopter is going to begin his hover. And notice the flag there is showing a crosswind component. So it's going to take a lot of skill to keep that airplane, the helicopter, stable over the site.
So these wings are rotating above. That's the rotating wing of a helicopter design and not a fixed wing. But they also create hurricane force downwinds, and the crew have to be very careful not to get caught up in that themselves too. It can not only knock you down on the ground, but it can actually bring the helicopter down. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, there's want to be very careful as you approach a helicopter, especially in a situation like this where you might get a lot of dust kicked up on you. So they're wearing special eye protection, special hearing protection, and on top of that, you're staying well clear of that anti-torque rotor in the back of the helicopter.
So as they load up, the Herc is coming in from the right, the F-15 is high above. There's a lot of stuff going on here.
That's right. So these are all California National Guard assets right now.
So that's Steve Max Performance Climb.
Now off to the right, the Hercules looks quite a bit different from the last time we saw it.
That's right. So as you can see now from the stage right position, the 130 is entered the helicopter air refueling configuration. So right now the 130 is flying very slow, actually about 110 knots, which is quite near our stall speed. So to make this happen, we have to slow the airplane down first, lower our wing flaps. They're down to 70%. And notice that the two, what I would call earlier, the garden hose, they're actually a lot bigger than a garden hose, but we have these hoses extended right now with the drogue chute. The drogue is a metal basket on the end of that hose there, and that's what the helicopter is going to use to receive the fuel. So right now the helicopter is doing a tail chase, and pretty soon he'll be in what we call the observation position. Also, you may notice that the ramp end door has been opened from the aft of the airplane. This is not really done in combat, but it provides the loadmasters a good view of the helicopter and keeps the pilots updated as to their position.
I'll bet they're getting some great shots today. By the way, Vicki Benzing, our steerman pilot, Dr. Vicki Benzing, is at the autograph selfie tent right behind us at Show Center now. If you want to talk to her about the university and learning how to fly. So the downforce of the rotating wings on top, though, Chris, you could blow that little nozzle down and stuff. It's got to be almost an endless game to get the probe in there.
That's right. It's a very tight tolerance actually between the main rotor disc of the helicopter and the drogue chute. So if it gets too turbulent, we just separate and we find smoother air. It's just a very tight, difficult maneuver to execute well, especially right now when the 130 is in a turn. We can perform a day rejoin like this, and keep in mind that this is done both day and night. This is pretty easy conditions, really, considering it's also been
Actually,
observation position and not fully connect. If the helo did have to receive fuel, he can get a little bit closer, and then there's the reception coupling inside of that drogue chute, and that again that meets up with the probe on the front of the helicopter. We pass gas that way to the helicopter.
You said pass gas. Sorry, I'm such a child. Cameras ready, and don't forget the hashtag CCA19 to share it.
So you notice right now we only have a single helicopter. Quite often they do fly as a formation, a two-ship, but for today it's just this single HH-60 Pave helicopter.
Wow. Yes, check it out. Check it out, guys. Check it out.
Yeah, these guys make it look easy here. It's a very difficult thing to do.
Wow. That's how you pass gas. Right there.
That's right.
Outstanding. And again, every one of these assets, the California Air National Guard, the F-15 Eagle high overhead though. You guys do this refueling stuff too, don't you?
We do, not with the drogue chute, so just a normal boom behind a KC-10 or a KC-135 like we've got here. And we'll do that about in the 20,000 foot range at about 300 knots.
Wow. Here comes the chopper again, Chris.
This right, he's going to make his pass here from stage right, and as that happens, the C-130 in the distance is beginning to reconfigure the airplane. When the drogue is out like that, we do have airspeed limitations, so we don't want to loiter in that configuration for too long once we're complete with refueling. So those hoses will be pulled in, the flaps will be raised, and then we have a clean airplane and we can accelerate to our normal cruise speed.
And this is a Jayhawk, not a Black Hawk. Big difference. Huh?
This is a Pave Hawk helicopter, not to be confused with a Black Hawk. Black Hawk, I mean an Army helicopter.
I said Jayhawk, I'm thinking Coast Guard, I think. And look at that, precise flying by the crew as well.
That's right. So right now you're going to see what we call fast rope. So right now, out of the helicopter just extended a rope at the ground. You're going to let that ground out to the earth to prevent any electrical discharge. So there's one man out, and the second one coming down the line. Keep in mind this whole time they're fighting that wind being produced by the main rotor. Any type of dust or debris is going to be a hazard. You're going to want to be wearing eye protection and hearing protection.
Now they're getting out. After all, they did just pass gas. So off they go. And look at, for those of you getting these shots, with the Hercules in the background, very cool, the telephoto lenses. Look at this, they make it all look so easy, and that is not it.
Yes, look, they've set their perimeter again. Now the helicopter is putting the nose down for the egress from the air. And under these conditions for an air show, these airplanes are a little bit lighter, so they're able to perform very well. They're not carrying as much combat gear, they're not carrying as much fuel. So these airplanes perform like sports cars now. It looks like from the right, another pass from the HC-130J Combat King. C-130 from the right.
Another beautiful high-speed pass. I mean, they've made it bigger, faster, more environmentally friendly, and they've also made it quieter.
That's right. So after the demonstration here, we'll park the airplane and be able to take a look if you haven't been over there already. So this airplane employs a 6-bladed propeller system. It's a composite prop compared to our legacy aircraft. They use 4-bladed aluminum propellers. These are much quieter and more fuel efficient.
And the Eagle coming in for the last word, if you will.
Yeah, steamer will be flying overhead and then doing some passes now.
This has got to be private. You're still on the ground. This time tomorrow. You guys are going to trade out. Tell me more about the Eagle.
Okay, the F-15C Eagle was designed in the 70s. This aircraft was built in the 80s. Still very relevant. We've updated it a lot with new engines, new radars, lots of avionics. It has an unbeaten record of 104 wins to 0 losses.
And Chris, this is going to be quite the landing coming up with the C-130.
That's right. This will be the full stop of the C-130 for this show, at least today. So this is going to be a maximum effort landing. So we do this when we have short runways. The C-130 is very capable. We can land on dirt, asphalt, concrete runways as little as 3,000 feet. Right now you'll see the 130 touchdown. He's going to execute maximum anti-skid braking and bring the propellers into a reverse mode. So instead of the air being pushed back, it'll be pressed forward to assist those carbon ceramic brakes to bring the airplane to a safe and complete stop. There's touchdown. We'll play smoke, and you'll hear the propellers and the beta mode and the reverse mode. And look at that, about a 2,000.
It's as fun as it looks.
And of course, they can also get it turned around in a pretty tight spot too, can't they?
That's right, we can even back taxi. So if we had to, let's say the runway was narrow, we had to actually back up on our own power, that's certainly possible, using that reverse thrust we talked about earlier.
Give the crew a wave to thank them for their service, ladies and gentlemen, from the California Air National Guard. Your crew on the J model C-130. Give them a huge wave. And of course our F-16 coming back in just a moment as well.
15.
That 15, I'm sorry. I'm looking down here at the Viper crew's getting ready to suit up. They're coming up in a few moments too, but stand by. We've got more to add in just a few moments as the Eagle comes in for a screaming pass. General.
Yeah, right. We left out the 163rd and wing down at Riverside Marsh. They fly the MQ-9. We have one on display here today. Typically, they'd be up overhead taking video and downlinking it. Sound of freedom. Anyway, the MQ-9 will be downlinking. We've used it a lot the last couple of years on the fires. But there's issues with flying that over the air show today, but next time we'll get it.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Major General Gregory Jones. Chris Russick, thank you for helping out. And of course, Digler, you'll be flying the F-15 tomorrow.
Yes, I hope.
Yes, thank you very much. A man with an economy of vocabulary. I appreciate that. And he gets the job done. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to look to the left because we are not done yet. Not by a long shot. Ladies and gentlemen, as the California Air National Guard leave the stage, Travis is about to enter. Situated in the San Francisco Bay Area and known as the Gateway to the Pacific,